Hey everyone, how we doing? Welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to bring you my review of the latest film from Jesse Eisenberg, A Real Pain, written and directed by Eisenberg, starring Eisenberg and Kieran Culkin. This follows two cousins, David and Benji, as they embark on a heritage tour through Poland to experience that and go to the place where their grandmother was born. Now, Jesse Eisenberg, obviously great actor, and, has done so much great work over the years, especially The Social Network. And I know he has recently gotten into writing and directing with When You Finish Saving the World, which I did not see, but I saw clips from, and I was thoroughly annoyed. And that was only one clip I saw, and I know a lot of people weren't huge on that film either. So when this came out at Sundance, I really didn't know what to expect, and so unfortunately I missed the screening for it. I tried to get a ticket, but they are all sold out because this movie started, racketing up such great acclaim just from the, few screenings I had at Sundance. And so I have been wanting to see this movie for the entire year, so I went out of my way last weekend to see it, as you probably saw my out-of-theater reaction, and yeah, this is definitely such a great film from Eisenberg, and you can tell that he has, grown exponentially as a writer and director, that it's not even funny, like, how great this movie is, except the fact that it is very funny. This movie is one of the absolute funniest films of the year, which I could say about a lot of movies this year, because there's so many that are just absolutely hysterical. We've really been spoiled in the comedy front of things, but this movie definitely explores a lot deeper ideas than that, talking about, cultural identity, especially Jewish identity in the modern age, and what that means to them as individuals and as a collective whole. And it's such an interesting self-actualization for Eisenberg, because I can imagine writing this was very therapeutic for him and very, very deeply personal. So this is kind of like the good version of what Adam Sandler does with his buddies when he uses, movies as an excuse to go have a fun vacation with his friends. No, Jesse Eisenberg did the same thing, but really explored so many profound ideas. And I wish that Sandler would do something like this, because really this is incredible, the experience that Eisenberg got to have for himself. I'm assuming this was such a amazing experience making this film. And my goodness, I think the thing that really stands out about this movie, besides the script, the humor, and the characters, which we'll get into, is really the sense of place and the sense of weight, a real pain, if you will, that is associated with these locations. And Eisenberg really lets you breathe within these spots to feel the enormity of their historical importance. And it is just really breathtaking. Like, I was blown away by so many moments in this film. And I haven't even gotten into the character stuff yet, which is equally as compelling, if not more so, especially with the two leads here, with Jesse Eisenberg as David and Kieran Culkin as Benji. Now, Eisenberg, I think, turns in his best performance since The Social Network. I mean, this guy, I think, is somewhat worthy of an Academy Award nomination for Best Actor. Now, I do think he is going to get nominated for Best Original Screenplay for this film, and deservedly so, but there are a couple scenes in this movie, one in particular, which he always had me in tears. Like, I was so moved by Eisenberg's performance in this, and just the writing overall is so razor sharp and so laden with depth that I was really, really shocked at what he brought to the table, but I shouldn't have been, because this guy is such a great talent, and my goodness, the role he has to play, sure, you could say, oh, he's playing Jesse Eisenberg, but he really takes it to a whole other level emotionally, and that's why I do feel like this is such a personal story to him, and you can feel it through the writing and his performance. It's really, really great to see Eisenberg in top form here. I think this is one of his best roles to date, and maybe the best movie he's been in. I don't know. I have to sit on that one a little bit. But Kieran Culkin, man. Oh my goodness. Everybody's been talking about him since Sundance, and man, it is warranted. This guy is going to win the Oscar. I mean, I can't say 100% right now, but I feel like this is one of those performances. It's just like when I saw Ke Huy Quan in Everything Ever All at Once. I said, he needs to win the Oscar and nobody else should even have a shot. Because what Kieran Culkin does here is so dynamic. He's subtle, he can get loud, he's hysterical. It is just such a wonderful, wonderful performance that just leaps off the screen as soon as he steps onto it. And he's able to hit so many different emotions. His character is the light of any room he enters into and says so many, like, what would on the surface be seemingly very rash and bold statements to people, but also is the one that makes everybody think about their sense of place in this story. And just his whole backstory itself is so unbelievably portrayed through his eyes. I mean, Kieran Culkin is an absolute force of nature, and I would be shocked if he does not win for this. Like, really, he is that good. And I am so glad to see him come all this way. I still have to watch Succession. I've seen one episode, and he was great in that. But my goodness, this is just one of the career best performances I've seen in a while. One of the absolute best performances you will see all year. Definitely my favorite so-called supporting performance, because he really is co-lead with Eisenberg, but he's going to be campaigned for Best Supporting Actor, and I really do hope that he wins, because this is just a tour de force performance if there ever was one. And I think the chemistry that him and Eisenberg have is just absolutely exceptional, and their stark contrast of characters create such a great dynamic in this film. And also just a great dynamic of these two relatives who, you know, kind of have a different relationship to each other at this point of time than perhaps they did when they were younger. And I really, really love how they explored that dynamic. And I think everyone else is really great in this movie too. It's a small ensemble cast, but all the characters, I think, for the most part, are very rich and really get a lot of moments to shine. I definitely loved Will Sharp as like the tour guide who's spouting off all these like details and factoids. He really brings a lot of great emotion to this film. And also Jennifer Grey, I didn't even recognize her. But man, she definitely has a lot of really great moments in this too. And her chemistry with Kieran Culkin is quite great to watch as well. I also want to shout out Kurt Ajiawan. I hope I didn't butcher your name there. He's really great as one of the other people who are on the tour with him, and he gets some really, really beautiful moments of insight that really add so much depth to this, you know, story. I really, really am impressed how much Eisenberg is able to pack into 90 minutes. It is just such an unbelievable accomplishment from a screenwriting standpoint, and I really am excited to see what he does next as a writer-director. If I had any criticisms with this movie, I think the ending is a little inconclusive for my taste. Now, I have to watch it again. Maybe it's going to play better. But I felt it lost a little momentum after a certain point in time, because I was ready to say this is like one of my absolute favorite movies of the year. And while it's certainly up there, I definitely have to give it another watch to really see how I land on the ending of this film, how it plays for me the second time around. But honestly, I cannot wait to see this again in theaters, because this, regardless, is one of the absolute best movies of the year. It's going to be a contender in Best Original Screenplay. It's going to certainly be a contender in Best Supporting Actor, and I think it's going to get a Best Picture nomination. This is the one Sundance movie this year that I think is going to go all the way, because it has such a cultural importance to it and weight. It's very accessible. It's very breezy to watch, even though it has its weighty moments. And I think a lot of people are really going to be moved by this film, as I was more than anything. So I'm going to give A Real Pain a strong 9 out of 10. Definitely check this one out once it goes wide this weekend. This is not one you are going to want to miss. especially for Eisenberg, his writing, and that tremendous Kieran Culkin performance. But you guys let me know what you thought about A Real Pain down in the comments below. Did you see this at Sundance? Were you lucky enough to get a ticket to it? And did you love the film as much as I do? And please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Very excited to talk about a lot more stuff coming out, especially coming up next, Emilia Perez, which is now on Netflix. I will be talking about that within the next couple days, so please stay tuned for that and so much more, and I will talk to you soon.